네, Hope for the Flowers. 꽃들에게 희망을 한번 읽어보겠습니다. My thanks to everyone all over the world who has helped me believe in the butterfly. This is the tale of a caterpillar who has trouble becoming what he really is. It's like myself, like us. Love, Trina. To the more of life, the real revolution. And to my father who believed in it. Chapter 1. Once upon a time, a tiny striped caterpillar burst from the egg, which had been home for so long. Hello, world, he said. It sure is bright out here in the sun. I'm hungry, he thought, and straightway began to eat the leaf he was born on. And he ate another leaf and another, and got bigger and bigger and bigger, until one day he stopped eating and thought, there must be more to life than just eating and getting bigger. It's getting dull. So Stripe crawled down from the friendly tree which had shaded and fed him. He was seeking more. There were all sorts of new things to find, grass and dirt and holes and tiny bugs. Each fascinated him, but nothing satisfied him. When he came across some other crawlers like himself, he was especially excited. But they were so busy eating they had no time to talk. Just as Stripe had been. They don't know any more about life than I do, he sighed. Then one day, Stripe saw some crawlers really crawling. He looked around for their goal and saw a great column rising high into the air. When he joined them, he discovered the column was a pile of squirming, pushing caterpillars, a caterpillar pillar. It appeared that the caterpillars were trying to reach the top, but the top was so lost in the clouds that Stripe had no idea what was there. He felt new excitement, like sap rising in the spring. Maybe I will find what I'm looking for. Full of agitation, Stripe asked a fellow crawler, do you know what's happening? I just arrived myself, said the other. Nobody has time to explain. They are so busy trying to get wherever they are going, up there. But what's at the top? Continued Stripe. No one knows that either, but it must be awfully good because everybody's rushing there. Goodbye. I've no more time. He plunged into the pile. Stripe's head was bursting with the new drive. He couldn't get his thoughts together. Every second another crawler passed him and disappeared into the pillar. There's only one thing to do. He pushed himself in. Chapter 2. The first moments on the pile were a shock. Stripe was pushed and kicked and stepped on from every direction. It was climb or be climbed. Stripe climbed. No more fellow caterpillars on Stripe's pile. They became only threats and obstacles which he turned into steps and opportunities. This single-minded approach really helped, and Stripe felt he was getting much higher. But some days it seemed he could manage only to keep his place. It was especially then that an anxious shadow nagged inside. "What's at the top?" it whispered. "Where are we going?" One exasperated day, Stripe couldn't stand it any longer and actually yelled back, "I don't know, but there's no time to think about it." A little yellow caterpillar he was crawling over gasped. "What did you say?" "I was just talking to myself," Stripe mumbled. "It really isn't important. I was just wondering where we are going." "You know," Yellow said, "I was wondering that myself, but since there's no way to find out, I decided it wasn't important." She blushed at how silly this sounded, quickly adding, "No one else seems to worry about where we are going, so it must be good." But she blushed again. "How far are we from the top?" Stripe answered gravely, "Since we are not at the bottom and not at the top, we must be in the middle." "Oh," said Yellow, and they both began climbing again. But now Stripe had a new feeling. He felt bad. He had lost his single-mindedness. "How can I step on someone I've just talked to?" Stripe avoided Yellow as much as possible, but one day there she was, blocking the only way up. "Well, I guess it's you or me," he said, and stepped squarely on her head. Something in the way Yellow looked at him made him feel just awful about himself. Like, no matter what it is up there, it just isn't worth it. Stripe crawled up Yellow and whispered, "I'm sorry." And Yellow began to cry. "I could stand this life hoping in what was ahead until I met you talking to yourself that day. Since then, my heart just hasn't been in it. But I don't know what to do. I didn't know how badly I felt about this life until then. Now, when you look at me so kindly, I know for sure I don't like this life. I just want to do something like crawl with you and nibble grass." Stripe's heart leapt inside. Everything looked different. The pillar made no sense at all. I would like that too, he whispered. But this meant giving up the climb, a hard decision. Yellow dear, maybe we are close to the top. Maybe if we help each other, we can get there quickly. Maybe, she said, but they both knew this wasn't what they wanted the most. Let's go down, Yellow said. Okay, and they stopped climbing. They clung to each other as masses of caterpillars crawled over them. The air was terrible, but they were happy with each other and made a big ball so nobody could step on their eyes and their stomachs. They did nothing at all for what seemed a long time. Suddenly they didn't feel anything crawling over them. They unrolled and opened their eyes. They were at the side of the caterpillar pillar. Hi, Stripe, said Yellow. Hi, Yellow, said Stripe. And they crawled up into some fresh green grass to eat and take a nap. Just before they fell asleep, Stripe hugged Yellow. Being together like this is sure different from being crushed in that crowd. It sure is. She smiled and closed her eyes.